cats, it's Ed, Superfly Bud here. Do you really need the Streakfly? That's the question that I'm going to try and answer in today's video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Or it could be your first time here. And if that's the case, where have you been? You want to help us out here at EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews so you can put a big smile on Beast's face by hitting that subscribe button, but also clicking the little bell below for notifications of when Beast rolls out the new videos for you. Give us a pause up and also make sure you share this video with your running buddies. Dankeschön. Are we set to see the Streakfly overhaul the next percent in terms of race scenarios? Or is the Streakfly just a really good daily shoe? Let's get into it. Let's discuss. So I've got about 50 miles into the Streakfly now, and I've got some more rigid opinions that I formed about this very flexible shoe. I do have to state this is a shoe that I purchased with my own Earth credits. It's not been sent to me by Nike or anything like that. So these are my humble opinions formed by actually running in the shoe. That's quite a novel approach, but that's how I do it. Do I think that this shoe is going to appear on the feet of 5 to 10k road racers in 2022? Well, yeah, maybe some of them, but I think a lot of people will probably still opt for the Vaporfly Next Percent. A lot of people have got the Next Percent already. They probably want to get a little bit of value out of the shoe, and I think they'll probably go with that one over the Streakfly. Some people have mentioned that at races that they've been to in recent weeks that nobody's wearing the shoe. Well, that's probably down to the fact that they only released a few of them. Seems to be very low numbers of this shoe, and I think in subsequent weeks and races in the next few sort of months, more and more people will opt for them. But I think few people will feel an awful lot of advantage from this much lower stack ZOOMX shoe. It's obviously a plateless shoe, and I think that a lot of people will just continue to opt for the Vaporfly Next Percent in that scenario. I just think that people find it lacks the rigidity that they want from a race shoe. They've become accustomed to using a carbon plate shoe, and they enjoy the benefits that that might give to them. And this one just hasn't got it. I think even the alphafly might actually be preferred over the Streakfly in terms of rigidity and propulsion. There's about an ounce difference between this shoe and the Vaporfly Next Percent in my size. So less foam here, no plate, but there's only about an ounce difference. Many times over the course of the last couple of years I've mentioned it's the foam, not the plate. I think if you added a full-length plate into this, would it be like an ounce heavier? Probably not. I mean, there's not a lot to the upper here. Is all of the weight saved purely from there? I'm not sure. It's a bit of a puzzle, this one. Like I said, if you already own a Vaporfly shoe, I don't think the Streakfly is going to dethrone the king. But then again, higher stacks and more rigid shoes aren't for everybody, are they? I read countless comments about where people have picked up the Next Percent or the alphafly and they just can't run in them for any length of time. They get all sorts of shin related issues, parts of the body just begin hurting and aching, and they just get some strange injuries. So this one could be for those people that just don't want a plated shoe, they just want something that's quite forgiving underfoot. Although the number of people that have said they've experienced discomfort running in a race due to perhaps sizing down in a shoe or racing in a race flat, for example, well, I've lost count of the number of people that have said they've done that in the past. When you look at the midsoles of the Vaporfly 4% and the Streakfly, there's not a massive difference aside from the drop. I read all sorts of contradicting midsole stack numbers for the Vaporfly 4%, but I measured mine and they're very similar. The measurements suggest that there's less foam there in the forefoot on the 4%, though I think with foam that's this squashy, the drop of a shoe is actually a less defining factor. If those of you at home have ever worn the alphafly, you'll know that it can almost feel that it's got a negative drop. You've got the rigid carbon plate, those air zoom pods and the foam in the front of the shoe paired up against a very compressive heel section, which is just all ZOOMX. Nike have gone for the more foam is good approach here, whereas with the Vaporfly 4%, you actually feel as if there's a little bit less foam there, a little bit less squash in the forefoot. It's almost like you're running atop of that carbon plate because the foam just compresses down, but you've still got that very rigid plate there to stabilize things. That just isn't here in the Streakfly. You don't get the same feeling at all. If I run flat out pace in the Streakfly, that really is quite noticeable. So I think it's a bit of a misnomer that the shoe's supposed to be intended for 5 to 10k racing. Doesn't really feel like that to me at all. Now you might say that, oh, you're just too slow to get the benefits of running in the Streakfly. Well, okay, if you're going to say that, see ya. If that is the case, then they should just make a about 10 or 20 pairs of the shoes and distribute them to the elite athletes that they're meant for. Let's not forget that we don't all run at our top level 5k pace all the time, do we? It's in smaller, shorter bursts. Maybe we'll do it at specific intervals or something within our training. I can't run any more than about 3.1 miles at my 5k pace. It ain't gonna happen. Taking all that into account, I'm finding the Streakfly a really fantastic daily shoe that I can use more frequently. It's just vastly more versatile and cushioned than some of Nike's more weighty options that they released in 2021. It absolutely toasts the next percent and the 4% as well in terms of outsole grip. Let's not forget as well, it's like 135 Earth credits over here in the UK. That's like a clear 100 Earth credits less than the Vaporfly next percent. I mean, that sort of money is the difference between either turning on the central heating or having to leave it off and wear a sweater. You know, things are hard at the moment, things are tough. The price of petrol, don't even get me started. The Streakfly my size is over 150 grams lighter than the Pegasus 38. Yeah, that's right, you read that right. Peg 38 in my size is 345 grams and this comes in about 196 grams. Bonkers. I think the Streakfly is a sublime shoe really for lighter runners. Perhaps if you're running several times a week on some varied surfaces, Streakfly could do it no problem. People have often complained about the very dense midsoles and the almost deliberately clunky feel of some of Nike's daily offerings recently. Well, the Streakfly is the complete antithesis of that, isn't it? I just don't think it's the high octane race option that people are expecting. In fact, the more and more that I run in the Streakfly and the Takumi Sen 8 from Adidas, I'm finding more and more differences between the shoes. Just the rigidity alone between the two shoes is just completely different. The Streakfly feels closer to half an invincible run to me. If you just sort of sawed it in half, you've practically got the same shoe. So in short, I don't think this is the Vaporfly destroyer that everybody thought it might be, and I don't think that it's likely to displace that shoe. I think I see this shoe being more like a training partner to the Dragonfly track spike. If you're going to use this one for racing, maybe you could utilise the Streakfly as sort of like a track partner that you can throw on to get used to that ZOOMX phone. Something that's just really forgiving, nice and light and nimble. Perhaps you could use it for some speed sessions or some track training. The Streakfly is certainly in the ballpark in terms of weight. This one's about 160 grams in my UK 11. Though nobody can say the ZOOMX in this shoe is the same as that in the Streakfly. That's got the more brittle type feeling stuff. The Streakfly is obviously very rubbery. I mean, I've been using my Streakflies for some trading estate escapes on some road and pavement. What do you say, my valued viewers? Will these appear on your local road races or on the feet of the people who are training for them? Transmit your thoughts and opinions to the viewers via the comments below. Musical interlude time. Always pleased to see some new Tame Impala material appear online. They've released some B-sides and remixes from the album, I think it came out in 2020, called The Slow Rush. In fact, I think I featured this one on a very recent musical interlude. So it's strange, that keeps happening to me. Really loving the additional B-side called No Choice. It's got a slightly earlier Tame Impala feel about it, lots of phasing on the drums. Really did quite enjoy that one. The other highlight though on this B-sides and remixes collection is a remix which features Lil Yachty. The track Breathe Deeper has got a brand new vocal from Lil Yachty, and it really does add something to the track. Kind of almost sounds like it was supposed to be on there in the first place. Brings a whole new dimension to the track, and it really does make me quite excited for what we might hear from Tame Impala in the future. If you enjoy Tame Impala's material, do go and check this one out, guys. I think you'll be really interested. B-sides and remixes from The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. Thanks for tuning in, cats. Always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications when I roll out those new videos for you. Become an EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews Club member too by hitting that join button just below. Give this video a thumbs up, like, and also share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you